And David, one of the things I see a big organization like yours, Redcats, that has $3.8 billion, and you have employees all over the world, and different department has different best practices, and all this knowledge is getting created within the organization. And most organizations finding it difficult to manage their knowledge.
Yes.
And I know that you worked on similar type of knowledge management projects in the past.
Yes.
How do you manage organizational knowledge effectively?
Well, you know, it's interesting how much of a problem it is in every place in which I've worked, right? People refer to it as the tribal knowledge way of sharing information. Nothing ever gets written down, nothing ever gets stored anywhere. It's usually in somebody's head, and then when that person leaves, the knowledge goes with it. And so I think that it comes down to making knowledge management a critical element in your core organization's learning agenda, and it can be something as rudimentary as just storing documents, but that runs its course pretty quickly. I think the best examples of those that I have, those type of organizations I have in my career, frankly, I go back to my Ascend days, because the company was certified, ISO 9001 certified for not just manufacturing but development. And what that meant was that everything we did had to be written down and stored in a database. And the fascinating thing about that is that you could, of course, you had metadata on which to search things. You could tell me, find every instance of this, but you also could do a full text search because it was indexed as full text. And this was the days before, just before Google and the search engines became available. But it's amazing how much of that needs to be really carefully tuned, right? Because if you just start storing stuff, you're going to wind up with a big mess ultimately. And so I believe that you have to not only have a very deliberate plan and strategy for knowledge management, but you actually have to have somebody managing it. Otherwise, it just spins out of control. And it's interesting because people don't really know what you're talking about when you say knowledge management. I'm sure you've had this happen. Outside of most circles, or in most circles, they don't. But when you explain to people and then you show them what's possible, like, oh, you mean I can find out about this, it becomes this whole nother world to them. And my experience with it has been that people just, they begin to get so addicted to that they feel lost when they go somewhere else and that doesn't exist.